Hey guys, I'm Ryan Wright.
I'm Katie Dubois.
I'm Jerry.
Today we're going to do a special review of Iron Man.
Oh shit.
Special spoiler talk here. When we started the channel, the first Marvel movie we were able to do was Iron Man 3. So here we are today to talk about Iron Man. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
I remember watching this, we saw it together. I remember watching this movie. This was a huge fucking deal because this was like Marvel Studios' first real film. Not like, oh, this is really Fox's movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is Marvel's movie. It was a big deal because it was Robert Downey Jr. And at the time, that was like really pressuring for Robert Downey. I heard that he only got paid like $500,000 for it.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
this movie was a pretty sizable gamble because, too, like, Iron Man is more comic booky. It's not like one of those household names like Spider-Man or Batman. So it's like, all right, we're going to take Robert Downey Jr., who hasn't had a career in a long time,
Yeah.
and we're going to take this lesser-known kind of superhero that we really only know, like, the nerd niche knows about, and we're going to make a big-budget movie out of it and sort of try and spark our franchise, and it worked really well.
Right from the beginning, I love it because you immediately get who Tony Stark is.
Oh,
When they're in the Humvee and the soldiers are like bonding with Tony and he's drinking,
So
taking photos with
cavalier.
them, you immediately get a strong sense of who Tony Stark is. What I love about the first Iron Man, looking over it again, is that the magic of it is really all in the details of the film.
Oh, I like that. That is so true.
You know, the explosion goes off because it was a cool opening. I liked what director Jon Favreau did with it because it established a really good tone of humor that will feature some intense drama. You know?
Yeah.
And because then it cuts back to like, what was it, like 3 days earlier, 3 weeks earlier, or something like that. You know, I gotta say something about Jeff Bridges as Obadiah Stane. I immediately thought he was a bad guy.
And there's something about that look when people have like a shaved head or like a super tight buzz cut with a big beard that's like, I don't quite trust this guy.
Something about Jeff Bridges' performance too made me kind of not trust him.
I wasn't worried about it though. It's not like they gave you that little nugget and then you were like, oh crap, now I know the end.
Yeah, that's
We got
fair.
the good guys, we got the bad guys. Let's keep going. Let's see what happens.
Well, there's enough other stuff to discover and stuff because it is like an origin story too that like, you know, you don't get hung up on that. Because he is a pretty suspicious cat, you know, and he's in that position in these kinds of stories to be the unsavory.
This should have
guy.
been my company, like that kind of position. But I do like the scenes with him and Tony. There is a level of history and understanding. Even when he's being deceitful, you can still tell how Tony is not able to pick up on it.
Yeah, because he's practically a family member.
Yeah.
dude.
It must have been pretty traumatic for Tony, actually, but it didn't really seem to bother him in the rest of the movies.
Well, you know, I'm sure it's in that tightly wound rubber band ball of traumas that slowly starts to unravel over the course of the series.
You know who I really like? Rhodey. Terrence Howard.
Rhodey!
You know,
Oh, so fun.
Next time, but not.
No. I personally, between Don Cheadle and him, I still personally prefer Terrence Howard. I've seen 2 Don Cheadle performances of Rhodey.
Okay.
And yeah.
I've seen Rush Hour too.
But the dynamics between Tony Stark and Rhodey in Iron Man 1 were so fucking good. Every moment of them felt like these guys have been best friends for a long time. And you know, I love the relationship dynamic of Tony's like this annoying douchebag to him, but he loves him at the same time.
Yeah.
Like there's that great, there's details in it. There's that great moment where they're on the plane. Tony's like, just have a drink. And he's like, no. You see how like serious he is?
That's right.
And then they get drunk and like there's
Smash cut.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like pouring out his heart to Tony.
I can imagine them at college. I can imagine them like messing with girls in middle school.
Yeah.
That's a long history. A long history.
Double penetrating chicks.
Probably not.
I could see Tony doing that. And Rhodey's huge black cock.
No, he would never share.
You know, I
Iron
don't
Man
think
is-
so, yeah.
What did he call his cock? War machine. When Tony gets captured by the terrorists, you know, he's assigned an assistant, Yinsen, who I really like in this movie. You know, I wish more people walked away talking about Yinsen.
Got a
You know?
Yinsen t-shirt.
Without Yinsen, he really wouldn't have become Iron Man. I mean, not just physically, but emotionally as well. Like, he was able to build the suit, yes, because of Yinsen's help, but at the same time, like, you see Tony's understanding of the world better through Yinsen's eyes as well, whenever he's bonding with him.
And that's the first time that he took on any direct responsibility for someone else's life. Previous to that, he's just shooting missiles off into God knows where and feeling like he's protecting America, but in that moment he actually sees someone go down because of the consequences of his actions.
Well, yeah, he sees like the horrible byproducts of his work, and then it becomes more than just industry.
Yeah. I really like the evolution of Tony's character throughout this whole thing. You know, because when he comes back to America, he's just a changed man. And I love that moment where he's like, oh, I just want to get a burger. When he's like obsessed with getting a burger, that he shows up with Burger King. Great product placement, by the way. In that moment, you know, he goes to the press conference, he asks everyone to just sit down with him. You see how like this guy, yes, he's traumatized, but he's also changed in a better way.
Well, he's still Tony Stark. He's just Tony Stark with a better sense for what's going on in the world,
Yeah.
and more of a sense of duty now, whereas before he was just kind of soaking up the status quo.
I like the motivation he develops to become Iron Man, because I see a lot of comic book stories that go, oh, a family member dies, and then they're like, oh, justice. But Tony saw that, hey, these terrorists are like using my weapons, actually.
Yeah.
And he's seen the destruction and the turmoil that his weapons are causing, and he wants to make it's a story about redemption, making a difference for yourself as well. Because there is that powerful moment where he's talking to Gwyneth Paltrow, where he's talking about like he feels like he has to do this. And she's like, no, you don't have to. You don't have to, dumb bitch.
It's almost that thing of like, I can't trust the world to do it, because even the military later on like wants Iron Man and all that stuff. It's like, I can only trust myself to be trustworthy with this machinery and to, you know, make a difference in the world.
But Gwyneth Paltrow, some people really don't like her as Pepper Potts. I like her a lot.
I like her.
I can see why you wouldn't, but I enjoy her.
I think she needs to be, in many ways, an equal to him. She needs to be intelligent. She needs to have class. She needs to compliment him. He's crazy and messy. She's the one keeping his appointments.
She balances him out very well.
Exactly.
And they have great scenes together. Any moment they're together is great chemistry, like right away. That moment where he has the chest plate and the energy things dying down.
Oh, and she has to get in there. Ooh.
First off, great effects on that.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
that really looked like she was reaching down into his chest.
really did.
Oh, he
Yeah.
was. He had a part hollowed out. You know,
No, that's
get
really
the
good.
character.
Very
They
method.
moved his heart next.
Very method.
That's extreme.
Any moment they have together is great.
And even when she has to kick that other girl out in the morning.
Oh yeah. That's
This is her. She's like, this is my
I know
space,
how he is.
so I'm going to.
It's a great script because you get a good grasp of all these characters just in their interactions. We could talk about like all the action and stuff, but everyone's already talked about that before.
And it's
like,
so good.
It's
know,
so good. You know, it's beautiful to look at.
I mean, all you gotta say is like the action's cool and the effects are good.
Yeah. Okay. In the finale, though, I didn't really like what they did with Obadiah. How he
Give him
just
a big chunky Iron
he
Man.
gets in the fucking that junky Iron Man suit, and then he just knows how to operate it flawlessly.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Look how evil I am, Tony!" Like the whole time.
It could have been a little bit more of an origin story for him in that way. Like, Tony had to learn how to be Iron Man. He could have learned how to be
Yeah.
a little bit more his character.
Yeah, I mean, he could have, you know, studied the schematics.
Yeah, and Obadiah is mainly just business too. He doesn't have the science mentality.
You don't know, man. You don't know. Maybe he's at home every night, like, drinking
Wikipedia.
wheatgrass and doing Krav Maga, you know?
He doesn't look like the
learn
Krav Maga
about-
type.
Oh, maybe he's super fit, though.
Maybe he goes on Pornhub a lot.
Really muscular forearms.
When he watches Pornhub, he's like,
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna use that in something. Future porn.
future porn.
Minority Report.
But in the ending, I love the way this film ends. What an interesting cliffhanger. Because it's so common for the superhero to hide their identity.
Yeah, this movie just throws the gauntlet down. Like,
He
we're not
does.
gonna do all that
But
secretive
he's
shit.
always
Like,
been that way. I mean, that character has always been like, this is me.
Yeah, it made sense for him to do that, but it was such a good cliffhanger because he's like, whoa, he just revealed his identity in the first movie.
well, and that was cool, especially like for Marvel as an autonomous studio to come in with a bang and just be like, you know what, we're gonna do it this way, and it's kind of different.
And of course,
Get used to it.
And he's an egomaniac. There's nothing that humble about him, actually. Even
Yeah,
the
I
things,
mean-
he wants to fix these problems, but he wants to fix them.
yeah,
You
It
know?
makes sense to his character, and it's kind of a
Yeah.
neat choice because it's just not one you see a lot.
totally. And of course, the post-credits thing.
Oh yeah.
I remember watching in the
exciting.
theaters. Everyone lost their shit when Samuel Jackson's like, "I'm putting together
Nick
the Avengers."
Because
It's
no
like,
one knew.
oh.
No one knew.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing
It was
together
leaked about
special
it.
team.
Yeah.
It was rumored,
was
but
exciting.
it confirmed it. You know, like it was
And
a
then-
beautiful way to do it.
Years worth of Nick Fury post-credit Sting jokes were born that night.
Yeah, but it totally paid off too.
Yeah.
It totally paid off. So yeah, Iron Man. It's a great movie, solid script, solid directing. Because Robert Downey Jr. went from $500,000 paycheck to $10 million paycheck for Iron Man 2.
God.
Which he deserved a lot more money for. Well, now he's like the highest paid actor in Hollywood. Rating system time. I should really start preparing these ratings. Iron Man
Oh no.
is a deliciously solid time.
Iron Man is a
Not really a rating.
stupendously.
This is just amazing.
Let's give a consensus.
We need like a system that denotes
stars?
quality of like something on the along the lines of like excellent, good,
10
fair,
inches.
poor, awful.
Oh.
Like 10 inch the dickometer.
Anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Jerry has a playlist on this channel. Reasons to Jerry.
You could fact check that.
Movie reviews. Katie has a channel too. Has like sketches, short films. Now she just started doing comic book reviews.
Yay.
So check that out, man. She just reviewed
Picture's
Preacher.
rad.
Preacher. And then she's gonna do Preacher 2, right?
Electric Boogaloo.
And one day I'll guest
They're
on
making
her channel.
Preacher for HBO.
I know.
Or AMC
I know.
or
I'm
AMC,
excited
Seth
about that,
Rogen and
actually.
Evan Goldberg.
That's gonna be cool.
Anyway, guys, yeah, we're tuning out now, but you could also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter because we want you guys to be involved in our personal lives as much as possible.
It's not true.
Yeah, our personal lives.
Is this his personal?
I talk about
You're all invited to Ryan's wedding.
I talk about the deepest, darkest
And
secrets,
Jiggly Jelly's gonna be your best man.
like anal, deep and dark.
No thanks.
It doesn't sound like that's a secret for you.
It's not a secret. The secret is actually law of attraction.